Welcome to University, a podcast for young people navigating life's big transitions. I'm Anne-Marie Cheresso, your host. On University, you'll hear stories from college students, you'll get tips from experts, and occasionally you'll hear from a parent's perspective on how to manage this time of change in your life consciously. Find yourself, find your purpose, find your people, and pursue you fearlessly. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of University. I'm excited for you to meet Trey Royal. Trey is currently a freshman and started his first semester at ASU where he quickly recognized this is not the place for me. And over the next few weeks, he spent his time deciding if he was going to stay or go. We talked to Trey about his decision here, all that he learned along the way, and what he's hoping to create in his second semester. I hope you enjoy it. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of University. I'm really excited to introduce Trey Royal. Hey Trey, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm appreciating you taking some time out during the holiday break to talk about school, which is probably the very last thing you want to be thinking about right now.
It's on my mind a lot, so I'm always thinking about it.
Is it? Is it on your mind a lot?
Yeah.
What most occupies your mind?
Just like making sure that I'm more intentional with because I'm transferring, just more intentional with I basically get like another shot at starting over again. And so I just kind of like think about how I'm going to go about it again.
That's really interesting. I love the way you look at it. Like I get another shot at starting over.
Yeah.
So this is one of the reasons I wanted to invite you onto this calls because I'm really curious about this decision, how you made it, how you made the first decision. So you started at ASU and you're now transferring to U of I. So take us on that journey. And I would even like it if you started us back when you decided you chose ASU.
Yeah.
And then getting there and then getting to this point where you've decided to transfer.
Yeah. So basically, I wanted to do sports journalism. And so I applied to a bunch of sports journalism schools. And ultimately, Arizona State just kind of offered the best package, and it's a really good school for that. And I kind of just like sports, and I was a good writer, so I feel like it kind of made sense. And so, especially at that time in high school where everyone's deciding where they want to go and what they want to do, I felt I needed something, so I kind of picked it. And so went to Arizona State. The way that Arizona State works out is it's around 70,000 undergrad. So they have four completely different campuses based on your major. So they have an engineering campus that's more sciencey, and then they have like the regular campus that's liberal arts and business and stuff like that. And then they have their downtown Phoenix campus, which consisted of journalism, nursing, and law, just because those are considered professional programs. And so they're in downtown Phoenix. So I kind of was separate from Arizona State as a school. And
so you weren't like on the campus, like the party campus where everyone thinks of ASU.
Well, I was in one dorm, and then like in the financial district of Phoenix, and like across the street was my class where all my buildings were. And that's pretty much it. So I went across the street for classes and went back to my dorm. And if you know Phoenix, it's not a lot going on.
Now, when you're from Chicago, so
there was a big difference. When I thought of big city, like you think of foot traffic and stuff like that, and there was none of that. So it was pretty much just my dorm and like my.
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize you weren't on campus. So
yeah,
you're missing that whole campus experience.
Basically, I was at a small school in downtown
Phoenix.
So if you were thinking of a downtown small school, that's kind of what you would look for. And that's what I applied to Chapel Hill, Miami. So big schools where I thought I was going to be on a campus. And I knew that I was going to be at a smaller school. But once I got into my journalism classes, I kind of realized I really don't want to do this. And I don't enjoy writing. And
really?
pretty much what it is. Yeah, like figured out I wanted to be a pundit, and a pundit is someone who gives their opinion. In order to be that, you have to do years of just hardcore objective journalism work. I didn't really want to do that. So quickly I just decided like, well, if I'm not going to be doing journalism, that's the only reason I came out here. And I'm going to have to transfer to their actual campus. If I were to just do liberal arts, I might as well just go back home and do in-state tuition and just be closer, because Arizona is really far. So that's kind of how I ended up back here. Yeah.
There were a number of things I heard you talk about. Number one, you decided that what you wanted to major in shifted completely.
Yeah.
So therefore, the school you chose, which was based on that major, was no longer really relevant.
Yeah.
And then the experience itself that you were having, you weren't enjoying, like living in Phoenix and just being.
Like I had a good time. Like I made the best out of it, and I had a lot of really good friends. But just the overall, like what I pictured when I went to school was not what it was. But it was a great experience. Like it was definitely like a great growing experience. But it wasn't what I was setting out, I think, to enjoy.
What was your vision?
Basically, I wanted to be next like really big sports journalist, and I was going to be at a big like campus taking journalism classes. And I was doing half of that, but then I didn't really enjoy that half, so there wasn't a whole lot left for me.
And what do you think the hardest thing about making new connections and building new community is going to be? Do you have a sense of that? Because you've experienced it once already, right?
Yeah.
And I'm imagining that once you sort of checked out, like you knew that you weren't going to stay at ASU, that it made it even more difficult. Not that it was difficult at all. You didn't say it was, but I'm wondering if it made it difficult for you to develop relationships and connections with people.
No, because I had a really good group of friends there prior to like me knowing that I was going to leave. So, and here's like one thing that I experienced about college is you have kind of the couple-week window of people making friends, but once they make friends, they kind of close off their groups. At least that's how my experience was. So something I think probably might be or could be difficult is going in the middle of the year when everyone's kind of already found their groups.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think could be a challenge, but that's why I think the benefit of people I know already being there, some people that I can connect with, and then, you know, expand that. But yeah, I think.
Yeah, that's definitely a challenge. I could see that being a challenge. How about I'm imagining, so do you have your dorm assignment?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when Robert was choosing his dorm, he got to like interview people and like, it's kind of like Tinder for roommates, like choose your roommates. Were you able to do that?
They, for ASU and U of I, they had a thing where you could like say, how do you like the room? Like, when do you like to get up? And
yeah, that's what he had. Yeah.
So I had that at ASU, and like this one I had that, but I'm in a single room with a shared bathroom.
Nice.
Yes, and I think it's because I'm a transfer student, so I don't like really have a roommate. I don't think, but I had that at ASU.
You did have a roommate?
Mm-hmm.
How did you like your roommate?
It was actually kind of crazy. He was Mormon, and he was a Trump supporter, and that's not me personally.
Yeah, he was a Mormon Trump supporter.
Yeah.
And how would you?
And
I'm just giggling because I know you.
Yeah, and so like you would think that, but I don't think I could have had a better roommate like at all. I mean, we like sports, and so we would do our work, and we were in the honor school, so we kind of had similar classes, and we do our work, and we just talk like about stuff we were interested. We wouldn't really talk about like politics and stuff like that. We talked about religion a lot, but
You did talk about religion.
yeah. But
wait, you got to take me through this now. So you have a Mormon roommate who's a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
Say that again.
I had a weird group of friends. It was cool though. Yeah, so I had a Trump supporting roommate, and then I had a group of guys who because he was from Arizona, And there were a couple of guys that we hung out with on our floor who were kind of more conservative, but they were like really good friends of mine. And then I had a group of friends that we also hung out with who were from Orange County. One was from Texas, one was from Atlanta. So there was a lot of different people. And we talked about a lot of different stuff. It was pretty cool.
Okay, so this is I'm really interested in this because how would you describe yourself to our listeners? Because you're not Mormon and you're not a Trump supporter. So
I don't believe in like a deity or like some god that punishes me or like has a ruling over me. I think like I believe in an affirmative power. And then I would say I'm definitely not a Trump supporter.
So what I know, particularly about people these days, and particularly around religion and politics,
Hot
hot topics, right? And there's a lot of divisiveness and there's a lot of judgment and there's a lot of separation amongst people who have different or opposing beliefs.
Sure.
So now here you are living with a roommate who could not have a belief system that's any more different than the one that I know you to have.
Yeah.
How did you not shut yourself down or judge him or shut him out? Because it sounds like you got really open and curious, and you still allowed yourself to stay in relationship to him without judging who he was based on his belief system.
Yeah. I think that's just, I don't like to, I mean, I don't like the Trump thing is a little different just because that kind of says who you are. But like, I like to give people a chance, and he showed himself to be like a good, caring person. And so it wasn't hard. Like, I don't think that his religion and politics is all of who he was, and I have to live with him. So I don't know why I wouldn't just make the best out of the situation. And I like exploring what people think anyway. So I would ask him like what his um, beliefs were about gay marriage and premarital sex and stuff like that, because that's just stuff we disagreed on. And it was cool because we were able to be like, I was like, why do you think that? And then like he was able to tell me, well, this is what our faith believes, blah, blah, blah. And at, by the end of a conversation, we were able to be like, yeah, I don't believe that, but that makes like, I can't say my belief is any, greater than yours, and you can't say mine is yours. So it's all personal. I mean, I think everything's personal. So like, just because I don't believe that doesn't, like, you can believe whatever you want.
You were able to, like, I'm going to just throw in like this little technical term. You were able to like listen to him consciously from an open state of mind and be really curious about where his beliefs come from and why he believes what he believes. And you were able to just see him separate and not judge him because it was different than the way you held your belief system.
I was super curious. I had never met a Mormon before, so I just wanted to know like what that experience was like. And so, yeah, I got interested. I think should be curious in most aspects, just get to know what people are thinking.
Yeah, but that's not the way the world runs right now. Like, that's not the world that's being demonstrated to you. You see that, right? Like when you flip on the news or you open a newspaper.
I think the people you surround yourself with kind of are more important than what you see. I mean, I kind of have lessened my social media like intake because I know it's not really good for me. And so I just surround my people with, like my mom, there's not really many more open-minded people, I think. So I don't know, that's how my environment is. Like I can't speak to everyone else's, but that's how mine is.
No, but you definitely have a curated environment, starting with your mom who runs this really progressive spiritual community here in Chicago. And so you're sort of steeped in a lot of this. But when you look at the world around you, when you look at news and you look at social media, you can see how we live in a world of I'm right, you're wrong, or this is good, this is bad, or Trump versus, Obama, or like there's all this divisiveness. So I'm just having a real appreciation for, at your age, at this time in your life, being placed in a situation with, I'm assuming he was white. I'm making a complete, like, see how I'm already creating a judgment?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you're a Black student at ASU
Hmm.
who grew up in a very progressive spiritual community, who's the anti-Trump supporter. And I don't mean anti like there's something bad with him, but just like the antithesis of what he represents.
Yeah.
Roomed with this white Mormon Trump supporter, like,
Yeah.
and it could have gone a completely different way if you were a different guy.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you created this environment and co-created it because it sounds like he was open to it too. Like, was he equally curious?
I don't know if he was equally curious. I don't think people are usually as curious as I am. Like I ask a lot of nosy questions, and like deep questions, but he definitely once like he saw that I was interested, he definitely got interested too. And when he realized like I wasn't judging him for anything, then I think that part of him came out too. I mean, he was a really nice guy, so I don't think he would have had a judgment anyway. I mean, he's going on his mission to Denmark in January to go for his Mormon mission. So like I mean he's really nice and he definitely co-created that environment. So,
Yeah. Well, I think that's really cool. I think like if we can create a world like you and he created in your dorm,
for sure.
I'm wondering what it would be like.
Yeah, I think it's not that hard. It's just people are stuck in their idea of being right. And we're not.
Why do you think that is? Why are people stuck in their idea of being right?
No one likes to be wrong, but like I don't think you have to be right or wrong. I think you can just believe what you believe. Doesn't make it right or wrong. But I think people really don't like. I mean, I don't like to be wrong. No one likes to be wrong. But if you look at, I think if you think about your beliefs as not being either right or wrong, and they're just beliefs, then it allows for people to coexist better. And I think that we're all capable of that. Um, so yeah.
Well, we're all capable, but we don't seem to be exercising that.
No, but I think if you like, I don't know if you would have been like that if I hadn't um like create. I didn't create the space, but like I showed up in a certain way, and so I think for people in the world, you can show up in a certain way. As I'm not judging you as right or wrong, and usually they reciprocate that. And that's my experience.
Well, my experience too is we get what we put out there, right? So you put out like authentic curiosity and openness and non-judgmental space.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get that in return. And it might take the other person a few minutes, right, to catch up with that. Because we don't actually live in a world. I mean, we live in a world of judgment. That's what we live in. That's what like social media is all about. It's like we're posting stuff and then judging one another based on that. And really, ultimately, we're judging ourselves based on how other people are showing up. So I'm just having such appreciation for this beautiful thing that you created in relationship with your roommate who, so many of us are going out and we're only looking for the people that are just like us. Like we want to belong in communities with people who are like us.
Yeah, I think that's something that I had to like kind of let go of because when I first got there, and I like my first week, I really didn't like want. I left August 10th, and so I was kind of the first to leave out of my friends, so it was kind of hard. But and I told my mom, I was like, these aren't my people. Like I haven't found my people or whatever. And the group of people I ended up hanging out with, and I really enjoyed, I never would have, probably talked to in high school. And so I think going to college, losing the idea that like there's an like certain vision for who you obviously like there's certain types of people you want to hang out with, but a certain look of who you like are trying to attract, I think you should let go of because there are a lot of really cool people just in the world.
We've been talking a lot on this podcast about finding your people, right? Like that's a big focus freshman year is finding your people. And I really love that you've kind of redefined that. Like anyone can be your people if you're open and curious.
Yeah, I think so, for sure.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Trey as much as I did. And the thing that I noticed myself most excited about is how Trey demonstrated for us the possibility, not only just in your own relationships, but what it would look like in the world if we all were to remain a little bit more open, a little bit more curious. What would the world look like if we all went about meeting people and being in relationship from that point of view? All right, I look forward to many more conversations. Thanks so much for being with us today, and we'll see you next week on the next episode of University. Thanks for listening to University. If you like what you heard, I would be absolutely thrilled for you to share with a friend, and equally grateful for you to rate and review on iTunes. It really helps. You can find more information and stay in touch over at university.u on Instagram or at University on Facebook and Twitter. I really hope to see you there. If you'd like support navigating the chaos and you're ready to create a more fulfilling life, I offer live weekly group coaching sessions every Thursday from 4 to 5 Central Time. It's a place to gather together, be seen and heard, reduce your stress, learn how to take back control of your life again. Give the first week a try for free and check it out. You can find out more at the link below or ping me on Facebook and Instagram for more.